Another way to bring character to your environment is by adding audio. Audio design includes music, ambient sounds, sound effects, and voice. Music, the overall notated soundtrack to your world. It can evoke emotion and mood to the player. Ambient sounds, these are the background sounds in an environment, such as the sound of a park with light wind and birds, or the whirl of machines in a factory. Sound effects, these are purposeful sounds that are added to emphasize actions, objects, or events in an environment. Some examples include explosions, weapon sounds, or door slams. Voice. These are the narrators and characters making noise or speaking in your experience. You can use more than one audio clip to create a soundscape that complements your environment. Lighting is another way that you can bring your room to life. You can change the lighting by adjusting the color, hue, intensity, brightness, and range, how far the light can be seen. The color of your lighting is very important. Certain colors can change the player's feeling or mood of the environment. For example, red can feel dangerous and green can make you feel safe. Use the sliders in the exhibit to change the lighting on the castle and create your own moods. Adding color, pattern, and other visual details to your model is called texturing. It is what gives shapes depth and character. We use two types of textures in this room. Tileable textures repeat over and over, looking like a bigger texture. These are best used for large shapes like terrain, water, and walls. A texture atlas is an image with lots of smaller textures to save on memory. You can place individual faces on different parts of the atlas to use more than one texture on an object. These also work great for objects with solid color or less detail. Compare the textures on the wall to the objects on the table. Can you tell which objects use tileable textures? Try to match which parts of the castle use the texture atlas. Low poly models are objects with a small number of faces. The less faces or polygons you have, the easier it is for some devices to render these objects. Modular building is a way to optimize your scene for performance. This means you can build models out of a kit of objects. It allows Unity to render that object once and reuse the same mesh in the scene. Notice how the objects below made a wall. Taking these small steps to optimize your assets will improve the player experience and reduce lag. Can you see how the castle is made using the modular pieces? Use the samples on the table to make a castle. A data table is a visual tool that makes it easier to manage complex data. Data tables are especially useful for tasks like progression systems, rewards, game states, and player or enemy stats, like in an RPG. To use, spawn a data table definition chip, beta, and configure to add columns and rows to input your data. You can also extract information using chips, like data table read cell, in order to perform operations based on specific rows and columns. Use the data table in the exhibit to see how a simple game system can be created using triggers and events. Swing handles can be used to create custom melee weapons or objects that are swung. These could be things like swords, axes, or hammers. To create one of these objects, you will need to use a swing handle component, a model of your weapon or object, a collision detection volume, and a piston to attach them. The following diagram shows how these components fit together to create a swinging object. Use the sword to break the boxes to see how all these components work together.